The world could have lived without knowing that. Yes.
Let's go have a snort at the port. On this episode of the Ktown Connects podcast, we chatted up with the owner of one of the most iconic bars in Kenosha. We welcome the owner of the Port of Kenosha Beverage House, Craig Pias. Cue that music.
Kenosha, that great big busy town, right in the middle of the USA, between the New York Harbor and the San Francisco Bay. Where the wonderful east, the beautiful west, that's the right place to be proud. Sing it so loud of it because we're so proud of it, Kenosha, my hometown. Give me a beer. No!
Well, welcome to the latest episode of the Ktown Connects podcast. I am one of your hosts, Donnie, and I'm here with...
Hi, I'm Jason.
Hey, Jason, what's going on? What's the good word?
Just enjoying a little drinky here and having a good time with our friend Craig here.
Yes, this is going to be a rockin' show.
Yeah.
We both love the port, so this is going to be a fun episode, I think.
Yeah.
See, the port rocks. I'm pretty boring, so just to clarify there.
I think.
In fact, if any of your podcast listeners get incredibly bored, fall asleep to my monotone droning, I owe you a drink. Come in the port and I'll get you one.
Oh, you heard it here. All right, well, we're here at Luigi's Pizza Kitchen, located at 7531 39th Avenue. They're open Tuesday through Sunday, so give them a call at 262-694-6565.
And order those pizza pies. Find their full menu and order online at luigispizzakenosha.com.
Ooh, I'm hungry for a pizza pie. All right, you can follow us on all of social media outlets, including Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. Drop us a review on Facebook or on your favorite podcast provider.
Drop those reviews.
Yeah, we need those. And help us spread the word about the hottest podcast in town. And what podcast is that, Jason?
That's the Ktown Connects podcast, Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
Also look for the Ktown Connects podcast on Spectrum Channel 14 and the Kenosha Community Media streaming channel on your Roku box. We air every Wednesday at 11 a.m. and Sunday at 5 p.m.
Look, Mom, I'm on TV. I'm famous.
Yeah, you can only say that joke so many times.
Well, I got nothing else in the bank here. I want to give a shout out to Dropping Daisies for that killer theme song.
For sure. Number one in our charts.
And number one in our hearts. Thank you, Dropping Daisies.
And don't forget, all you listeners, you can show your support for our Ktown Connects podcast by getting your very own Ktown merchandise, courtesy of the Letter Machine. They got t-shirts, sweatshirts, beanies, koozies, and more. You can find a quick link to our shop at ktownconnects.com.
Yeah, you can order your shirts at the Letter Machine and then go have a beer at the port. They're neighbors.
Right across the street.
Yeah, That's great. Also want to give a shout out to our Patreon supporter of the week, Jake the Weather Guy.
Good old Jake, yeah.
Thank you, Jake, for joining the after party at patreon.com/KtownConnects. Jake and all of our Patreon supporters get early access to each episode, bonus material, and get this, the critically acclaimed bonus show, It Is What It Is, plus so much more. And here is the best part.
What's that?
Subscriptions start as low as $2 a month.
Wow.
$2 a month. You get all that. You can find the quick link.
We already have like over a half hour material with Craig warming up.
Right. So it's well worth that $2.
It's going to be on there, plus whatever else we get from him tonight.
Yeah, it's gonna be something. So find that quick link at ktownconnects.com.
I can't wait.
Yeah, it's riveting stuff.
All right, so who are we talking to today, Donnie?
We're here with Craig Pias, the owner of the Port of Kenosha Beverage House. Welcome, Craig. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me on.
Well,
this is really unexpected, to tell you the truth.
Well, you are kind of a local celebrity.
No, the port's popular. I'm just the guy
running
that signs over the bills and things. I unlock the door.
Well, but not only that, Craig, you're also a lifelong Kenoshan.
Yeah, no, I was born and raised here in Kenosha at St. Catherine's Hospital down on when it used to be on Sheridan Road, north side.
Oh.
But no, south side. No, north side. I got my directions wrong. Yeah, kind of near the port, actually, maybe a couple miles away.
It was destined to be together. You and the port, right?
It was meant to be.
What was your go-to movie theater as a kid?
Actually, there was more than one time that we had. There was Cinema 5, and then there was Market Square, but it was always Cinema 5.
Well, there was Roosevelt's, and there was the Lake.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Roosevelt. Well, Roosevelt always seemed like show the movies that are kind of like kind of like the drive-in. They always seem like be like, all right, months after the fact. So I was like, all right, well, let's go to Cinema 5 and watch it over here. Yeah. It's just a short jaunt down Highway 50 there.
All right, cool.
You remember the first movie you saw there?
Wow. No. Let's see. I can think as far back as E.T., but I know I had seen movies there before that. Well, I'll take it back. And like I probably saw movies there before, and that was with my mom. First time me and my brother just like, yay, we're old enough to walk down Highway 50. I want to say it was either Popeye or E.T. or something like that. With the Robin Williams, that Popeye. I want to say it was that.
I forgot about that movie.
I think. But yeah, don't quote me, but it's in that neighborhood.
Oh, you're quoted, my friend. You're quoted.
It's in that range anyway.
Yeah. So you grew up like kind of near Luigi's here, kind of this neighborhood?
Yeah, I grew up 4 blocks away. Luigi's is here on 39th, and I grew up on 35th Avenue.
So you're a Tremper kid then?
I'm a Tremper kid. I went to Roosevelt Elementary School. And then Lance, and then Tremper.
Oh, you went to Lance. So you're a Lance Angel at the time, I'm assuming.
Blue Angel.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, yeah. When I was going there, they changed it from Blue Angel to Lance Lightning.
Probably because of some kind of religious nut.
Probably. We had to make some vote. There was all these things.
But Bradford's still the Red Devils, aren't they?
Yeah, well, that's going to get canceled.
I thought that was so cool when I went there. I'm like, yeah, we're the Red Devils. We're not named after our condom.
Right.
Well, you remember the Florida baseball team, the Devil Rays, and they switched it to just Rays because a bunch of religious freaks were just all over it. Like, the Devil.
I think we started a campaign to get rid of the Red Devils at Bradford.
I think you should fuck yourself. I got to edit that now.
I do every day. So when you're going to high school, what kind of student were you, Craig?
I was a shadow, man. I was a solid C plus B minus student, but yeah, I was just pretty much like, get me in and get me out of here. I don't know. I didn't really stick out in the crowd. In fact, I made a point to blend in because, I don't know. There was a lot of annoying people I went to school with. Yeah. There was a good handful of good ones, but there was a lot of annoying people in my class.
What was your first job?
My first job, besides Paperboy, my first job was, Brewmasters on 39th and when it was on 39th and 80th, and I was dishwasher there. Wow. And anybody can live through that. I think I was there for, I don't know, maybe 3-4 years or something like that.
Wow.
And honestly, I didn't have any constitution, until I started working at that place because, oh my gosh, what a gross job, dishwashing is. But besides it just being gross like that, it would be like, because they serve food obviously, and then people sit at the bar just drinking all night, and it happened at least a few times a month. Like, Craig, you gotta clean out the bathroom. Some guy would just unload. I'm like, why did you eat so much? Why did you drink so much? What is wrong with you? But
Could you make it home?
Exactly. See,
or make it in a toilet.
Exactly. Who pukes in a urinal? I mean, come on. Or a sink. The toilet's right there. That goes for the port too, mind you. Like, come on, guys. Garbage can. The toilet is turned to your left. It's right there. But I digress. Anyway.
So you started out working in a bar pretty much.
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, bar and grill.
Did you kind of like see that kind of environment, those people like hanging out and kind of like, this is kind of cool. I kind of like to do that when I'm older, kind of like, when I'm 21, I can't wait to get to the bar.
Oh yeah, the bartenders. Oh yeah, I can't say everyone. A lot of people, myself included, like the bartender's like, this is the guy to know. He's got to talk to him. They just be this fluid, smooth motion, like doing 3 things at the same time to still carry on 2 conversations. Like it was really impressive. Like for a guy at the time, I was 15 at the time. I was 14. Whatever it was, but yeah, I was pretty much a mute as a kid. So like watch these people like socialize. Like I gotta watch what they do. So,
did you ever sneak any beers while you were working there?
Oh, yeah.
And they're closed now, so you can say it.
Yeah, actually, I suppose I can. Well, it was Brewmasters, right? So I mean, they brewed their own beer. They had their own brewing room. The big glass, and everyone could see the vats and everything. Them dumping in all the hops and all the junk.
They walk in, Craig's under the tab.
Oh no! See, that's one thing. That's the brewing room. That room does not smell much good. I'll tell you that. It smells like Smells like a barnyard field. Just pasture. That's what I'm looking for. But no, they get done brewing their beer in those huge vats, and then get pumped to this large walk-in cooler in the back. And like in this cooler, there was 6 or 8, larger vats where they brew up, the special flavor of beer, and go in this vat, and another going another. And then and like you said, and it's kind of funny you say that, like, yeah, if nobody's looking, it's all busy, nobody's doing anything else, get yourself a plastic pint cup and just tap it out from the bottom and chug it. I'm like, okay, I'm off break, And she had to do it quick, though. It's like, you can't just hang out there like it was a bar.
Yeah, all right.
I miss Brewmasters. That was a great place.
Me and my old man used to go there for the prime rib.
Oh.
The other one, the one on the north side.
The one that burnt down?
Yeah.
They had some good karaoke nights over there.
Yeah.
So, Craig, were you kind of a troublemaker in high school?
No,
You just
like I
kinda
said,
stayed.
shadow. Well, you know what? No, I was a good kid. I really was, man. And then I found friends. And next thing you know, I was like, hey, then I was just together. But that was one thing. We did stupid things, but it was well thought out where we wouldn't get caught.
Right,
It
that's
wasn't
the
just
key.
like just walking down the street, hey, want to rob this gas station type thing. It wasn't like that. I'd be like, you know what? That'd be cool to have in my basement, in our basement or the garage. Well, one of my friends had his hangout was his garage. It'd be cool to have a pop machine in here. Yeah, it would be. So we cased out. It's like as far as like the interstate, we cased out like where's an out of the way place that one wouldn't be missed. And I'm not gonna say where. And mind the statute of limitations well over with, but yeah, we found this place real close to the interstate, middle of nowhere, in the dark. One, and it took and we stole a pop machine, and it was great. It was great because we got back, we're like, woo, we got this pop machine, and we go back to our buddy's place and park in the garage. My buddy had his pickup truck, and we take him and says, all right, well, how do we get in this thing? We're trying to bust the lock off this thing to open the door. And we're like, all right, and we're pounding. I'm like, doggone, I'm like, can't get this thing open. So we take this thing and we take it out of the bed of the truck, and we place it upside down. I'm like, okay, there's no other way to do this. Like, we pretty much ruined the front side of this thing anyway. It's like, let's just get all the soda out. So we got a Sawzall. We took off the back of the whole thing.
Oh, man.
And I was like, all right, man, we got Pepsi and Mountain Dew to last us forever. But the funny part is we stood it back up and the door opened right away. It's like, we did break the lock. We just didn't know it. Anyway. I kind of trailed off.
No,
but up to that point, it's like I was a good kid, man.
So besides your buddy's garage, you guys like have any hangouts when you were a kid, like around town?
Well, being underage and all having baby faces, even if we got fake IDs, nobody would believe it. We hung out at Mark's Big Boy on 75th over there across the street from Ace over there. Mm-hmm. Or is Ace over there? Sofro's still over there. Well, right next to Dairy Queen anyway.
We gotcha.
With the old Lynches.
I think that building's gone now completely, huh?
Yeah. No, it's leveled. It's gone. But because it was 24 hours, like nothing else to do. So we just sit there and drink coffee and smoke packs of cigarettes and play pinochle.
So you graduate from high school. What's your plan? Do you have any like hopes and dreams or anything? What's going on in your head when you graduate?
Zero. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, honestly, I went to Parkside. I was like, all right, you got to choose something. I'm like, I have to choose what I want to be right now. I'm like, I see you have 17, 18 years to think about. I'm like, I don't have any. I have no plan. I have nothing that really, really picks my interest. The only thing that kind of did was it's like commercial airline pilot. Yeah, you know what? Scenery changes. Blah blah blah. You get to go all over the place and whatnot. But then I saw how much schooling was. Like, wow, if I failed that school, how much money I would owe. I'm like, yeah. So I acted against it. But I still went to Parkside, and I don't know, accounting. I was always decent with numbers. And after a while, I was like, you know what? No, I don't want to do this. Like, I'll just keep working until something comes around.
Okay.
And nothing really actually came around. I just kept on, doing my restaurant jobs and just putting through life. So, like I said.
What are some of the restaurants you worked around town?
What's that?
Give me some of the restaurants you worked at.
Well, let's see. Well, Brewmasters, I got up to fry cook at Brewmasters before I quit there.
Oh. Congratulations.
Oh, yeah, no. Head fry cook. Oh, the smell when I come home at night. Dogs love me. Feel like otherwise, the place like I worked at Burger King for a little while, and then I went to Mark's Big Boy out on the interstate. I was out there. Let's see, I was working there for a few years, and then switched to Mark's Cafe. So technically, it's a different restaurant, even though it's the same one. And then a couple years after that, switched to Annie's Cafe. Oh. So I was there for a couple of years. After that, let's see. After that,
were you just cooking at these places?
I was just cooking.
Okay,
that was it. And then I went to Applebee's here in town. And let's see, after that, and then one of my friends got a job up in Racine. I'm not sure what it's called now, but it used to be called, it's on Main Street, like 5th Main. It was like not 5th, but Helen and Craig's Bistro. And so I was up there for a couple of years. I can tell you exactly what that time was because that's when 9/11 happened. We happened to be there.
Oh.
But I was up there for a couple of years, and then I had a falling out with the manager. Then went back to Applebee's for a bit.
Okay.
And yeah, and that was pretty much my cooking career.
I think that's when I met you. You were working at Applebee's.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And then pretty soon you're going to get into the bar experience, and we're going to talk more about that right after this quick break.
All right, and we are back with Craig Pias, the owner of the Port of Kenosha Beverage House, located at 714 50th Street, one of my favorite bars. Now we're just going to kind of see how you kind of got into bartending and all that good stuff. So
Craig, it's 1998. You're working at Applebee's. Mm-hmm. What inspired you to want to try and get your bartender's license and get a bartender job? What made you decide you want to do that?
Actually, it was the previous owner of the Port, Botanical. I turned 21 in 1993, and my friends, they turned of age before I did. They're like, oh man, there's a school bar downtown. Yeah, check it out when you turn of age. I'm like, all right. So then, like, my 21st birthday, we go to the Port, and I'm like, wow, this is the first place bar I'd been into, legally anyway.
Yeah.
But I was like, wow, this place is wild, man. I was like, we hung out all night, and they had a great time. But and we visited so many. I mean, 'cause there's 130 bars in Kenosha, something like that. It's not how many liquor licenses anyway. But anyway, we went to all these bars. Like, let's go back to that first one, man. What was it, the Port? But we hung out there so often that 98, pretty much the same time I was starting Applebee's in 1998, the owner, he says, he was sitting there and he had a few under his, in his liver at the time. He's like, why don't you just get a job here? You're here so often. I'm like, don't you need a license for that? Go get one. I'm like, but I never bartended before. You'll learn. I'm like, okay. So we pretty much left it at that. And I was like, all right. Went home and next day, like, he was drunk. He's like, he didn't know what he was talking about. So then I was in about a week later with my friends. And he didn't say anything. And so I was like, okay, he must have forgot. He drank even more that night. And, kind of black, just wiped it out of his mind. And so I brought it up, like, are you serious about that bartending thing? He's like, you got a license yet? I'm like, no. He's like, go get one. What'd I say? Okay. So I went on and got a license, and the rest is history on that one.
Just like that.
Just like that.
So Dan was the second owner of the Port.
He was the second owner.
Can you tell us a little about the history of the bar?
Oh, can I?
Yeah, let's hear this.
Okay. Now, mind you, this is pretty much what I pieced together from everyone knows, this and that and the other. Okay. The place. Now, mind you, I got to go way back. I was looking at the actual, deeds and, went to the what is it, clerk of deeds or whatever it is,
okay.
That deals with property. And I was looking up, let's see when the Port was built. And it says 1920. I'm like, that can't be right. So, it just didn't seem right. It was like 1920. Especially because inside the fireplace, there's a fireplace room at the Port. If any of your listeners have never been there before.
It's kind of like it's a house.
It's a house turned into a bar.
Turned into a bar. And inside the fireplace, it's an old fireplace. There's a stamp 1895. I'm like, that makes more sense. Why would somebody put in a 1895 fireplace in a 1920 house? I'm like, okay, this makes sense. So I did a little digging, and it turns out, okay, the Port, the building itself used to be on Simmons Island when Simmons Island was an actual island before they filled it all in. It was like one of, 6 or 7 houses or something like that. But where this one was situated, it had been in the fill-in. Because, like I said, it was an actual island at one point. So they moved that whole building over to where it is right now at 714 50th. So anyway, that's why there wasn't any documentation on it before, because some guy built it with his bare hands, I guess. So that being said, it was a single-family house. I have no idea who the owners were.
So it probably got moved there in 1920 or guessing?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was built in 1895. It was on the island. Then it got moved over when they're doing all the construction on the island. So anyway, when I was tearing apart the upstairs, I was taking out some walls, and way back in the day, as far as insulation goes, I found all these old newspapers. I found old whiskey bottles and stuff like that. Empty, of course. But they're just stuff anything on the walls. But I found some of these newspapers. They read date in the 1940s. I want to say 1943 or something like that, 42. Okay. So I'm like, all right, that's when the person decided to make it into apartments because there was, I want to say 2 or 3, it was either 2 or 3 upstairs and 2 or 3 downstairs. I'm not sure exactly which.
Wow.
But talking to a couple tenants that actually lived there, says, there was this, blah, blah, and they have pictures like shag carpeting and hi-fi stereos. This is our, this is our,
I see some of those pictures,
apartment.
like the pool room now, like when it was like a bedroom kind of thing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it just cracks you up like, wow, that's the 70s, right? So anyway, John Madison, as the story goes, the port became the port in 1885 for a reason. Whereas John Madison, his dad was the alderman of the district. We're in District 2, and he was the alderman of the district. Now, John was a party animal, stuff like that, and sounds like me, I guess. Like out of high school, I got no plans with my life. Let's just party on. To which, so his dad's like, okay, you need something to do. And like they had a little bit of money, so he bought the port as. The port itself, it wasn't the port, it was just an apartment building, with 4 or 5 or 6 apartments in it. He says, okay, this is now yours. You're going to maintain, you need a job, you need to straighten out a little bit. And you take care of these apartments. John's like, no problem.
Oh.
Now, as far as I get out of it, 1 or 2 of his friends already rented apartments out there. So in a matter of I won't say no time, in a matter of time, pretty much all of the tenants moved out because it was such a party house, and he moved in all of his buddies. So it just became just the party pad of all time. And the cops wound up showing up there all the time because of all the noise complaints.
This would have been early 80s probably?
This was the early 80s.
Yeah.
So it was already a beverage house then.
There you go. It's like party house. So the cops should keep showing up there. Now his dad, being the alderman, says, okay, you're making me look bad here, man. You're my kid. I'm supposed to be an upstanding citizen, leading this whatever District 2. And he says, here's a liquor license. Turn the downstairs into a bar at least, and then you can't get noise complaints. And that was 1985, and that's where, as Jason said, the motto's always been nonstop house party since 1985. So there you go.
Oh, that's a very interesting story. I never knew that. That's awesome.
So
Wow.
That's cool. And then John operated an odd place there for the first few years. Like I said, it was like a house party, and they didn't have a jukebox. They played vinyl records. What other kind of quirks did they have back then?
They only had keggers. They had a limited amount of actual booze to mix up. It was everything was all keggers. There was no cans or bottles and stuff like that. And that was like I said, that was a hi-fi record player, and people bring in their records. All right, what do you want to listen to type thing. But yeah, and after a while, I broke down and got a jukebox, and I was like, no, keep the record player. So he had them both. And
when I first started going there in the mid '90s, they didn't have a TV then yet.
Oh, really?
I don't think so. At least it was never on.
Actually, you know what? I remember, back in, like I said, it was in 93 when I turned, I just remember the one, if you're sitting at looking right at the tappers or whatnot, if you turn directly around, there's a dark corner where this little 13-inch
Yeah, that's the first one I remember.
fuzzy rabbit-eared thing was on, but that's the only one I remember at the time, too. But yeah, again, it was never turned on.
Yeah.
I don't think anything would actually tune in. Oh no, you know what they did? They hooked up a VCR. I remember John had a VCR hooked up to it, so you can watch. Watch that video.
That's what he had going.
You couldn't really watch TV.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah. But then John passed away in late '90s, was it?
He passed away in 97.
97, okay.
Late 97, and his head bartender, Botanical at the time, he took over the place and everything like that. He went through the channels to do that, and it took a few months, and so the port was closed for a good 4 or 5 months or something like that. And it was, I believe, it was St. Patrick's Day of 1998 is when he reopened.
Wow.
So then, so that's when he took it over.
So it was still during the time that you were going there then?
Oh, yeah, no, it definitely was.
So you were going there when John was
Well,
there.
that was one thing. I was living in Racine at the time. Worst mistake of my life.
Oh, I know.
Never moved to Racine. At any rate, I was up there at the time. I ran into a friend and said, dude, you ain't going to believe this. John passed away. I'm like, no, yeah. I mean, I'd go there whenever I could, but of course, you couldn't go there every day of the week. Live a county away. You can't get Bliss and drive a whole county away, every night of the week. But
right.
But no, I was still a frequent, regular there. But after Dan took it over, I moved back shortly after Dan took it over, and I was back in town. It was about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months later. That's when Dan says, "Hey, dude, get a job here." I'm like, "All right, perfect, we can do that."
Oh, so you're one of the early hires then he had, huh?
I'm pretty sure I was the first real hire he had.
Wow.
I don't know if I should drop names or not.
Oh, yeah, you can.
Okay, well, Union Park Tavern,
Angie.
great place to go to.
Yes,
We all love Union Park. Well, Angie runs the place. Well, at the time she was working at the port, and she was the one that was training me out of bartending. Oh, that was what your question was. What was that first night like?
Right.
pig on roller skates, man. Oh my God. I'm like, I feel so out of place. For the first time, and Jason could say this, I'm not sure if you bartend or not, but that first time you get behind a bar and you're like, wow, it's such a different perspective.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I'm like, I feel like I don't belong here, you know? I was like, I belong over there. But
So how was being trained by Angie? That must have been fun.
it was an experience. No, we had our good days of getting along. We had days just like, man, it had its ups and downs.
Well, like any
but long
coworker.
and short, she taught me a lot. And then after I knew a lot, then she'd be like, all right, now you take care of everything. I'm in this corner doing something. I'm like, man, I'm doing all the work here. What's wrong with you?
I know. I remember going to the part when I was 21. You were bartending. Angie was bartending. As I said before to Angie was my first bartender crush. And Craig, you were my second.
Well, it wasn't. That was my first crush. That's why I have so many mirrors in my place. No, again, Angie had her ups and downs, but no, we get along. We got along just fine. On the long and short of things, but that's where
It's crazy. You both own bars now.
I know.
It's wow.
Again, it's like Kenosha destiny or something like that.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like the evolution of everything. You know,
Yeah.
That's why.
So next Xandra will own a bar, right? Is that how it works?
I can only hope. I should take over the port. After I win the lottery, of course. I mean,
Right. All right, so you're pounding away. You're working at the port. You're doing your thing. And then you decide, well, Dan wants to get rid of the bar. What happened there? And then you decide to purchase the port in 2014. Take me through this.
For the couple of years leading up to it, he's like, I'm tired of this. I'm getting out of this. Start saving your money. I'm selling the bar. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. Because after he's kind of the boy that cried wolf. Because he did that so many times. Like, yep, that's it. We're done. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, whatever. But yeah, this one time he says, no, this time I'm serious. I've had enough. It's like, I had a good run. I want to move on. Bigger, better things. And I says, tell you what. I want to sell the bar. If you can get a loan, I'll give you a first shot at it. I'm like,
oh, very nice.
Great. All right, let me see what I can do. And that was a bit of a process. But I came up. I came up with money. And but the thing is, we kept it on the DL for the longest time. It was like, all right, it's like don't it says, well, you have to realize I have to put some feelers out there just in case you don't get your loan. Because I want to get out of this as soon as possible. I'm like, all right. And there was a couple different people that just come in the bar. I was like, just looking all around. Yep. I'm like,
get out
hey,
of here.
can I get you a drink? I'm good. You just keep on walking around. I'm like, oh, okay. There's this one jerk that came in. I won't go into details. Like
Name drop.
No, I didn't know his name. It was just like he was this jerk. I'm like, hey, what can I get you? I don't need anything from you. I'm like, okay. And he goes around the bar. I'm like, do you need some help? Not from you. I'm like, wow. I'm like, okay. And so there's a couple sitting in the bar. I'm like, I pretty much said one's a bigger one. The regular one was a bigger guy. It's like, guy wants to be a dick, let him be a dick. It's like made a lot, the other guy looked kind of tough and not as big as this guy. It's like, and he thought I said, he's like, yeah, when I own this place, you're the first thing off this list. Like, now he had no idea. We were already in the middle of paperwork. I'm like, have a nice day.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah.
I still have not seen that guy again this day.
I was going to say, it'd be great if he came back to the bar and you're there.
Who owns this shithole now? Yeah. Guess what, bitch? Get out. Yeah. But no, not yet.
So when he first asked you, hey, get your financing together, I want to sell it to you, did you have to think about it, or was it kind of a split decision? I want this.
It took me all of an hour. So like, all right, pros and cons in my in my head, and I actually wrote something down too. But I was like, what else am I going to do? Am I go back to line cooking? Do I want to possibly work for another owner that could be that guy that I was talking about? And I was like, I could. I don't know. It's just thinking like it could be a lot worse. It could be a lot better. It could be a lot worse. I could get out of the bar industry altogether, but what would I do? So I was like, I'll just stick to what I know. It's like I'll stick with bartending.
Right, somebody else buys that bar, they might change it up. You kind of you kept the aura the same pretty much.
There you go. That was one of the cons list. Some idiot changes around my favorite bar, and believe me, most of the regulars agree. Don't change. I'm like, I don't plan to.
Yeah.
Just a little tweak.
I mean, you did change it a little bit. You kind of brought back live music, which Dan Nicolazzi wasn't really big onto during his term, I guess you can call it.
His regime. Yeah, no.
You kind of started bringing back bands. You have bands that are almost like on a regular basis, a few times a month at least, right?
Well, they come and go for the most part. They'll go by, like a month without having a band, and then within a month we'll have, So I mean, we're doing a Friday night and then a Saturday night, and back to back, and then like all Saturdays taken up. It's kind of give and take, but I don't really go out looking for bands.
They come to you, right?
They come to me, which it kind of sounds like power trip. Yeah, you want to play, you come to me. It isn't like anything like that. It's just like, I'm a bar, primarily, and it's like, and we have music as a side note. It isn't like a concert venue where it's like, hey, we got booked because
right.
That's the only way to make money. It's like, no, the bar makes money, and then people like to have fun with the band. It's like,
well, one thing about the Port that I say, it's equally the best and the worst place to see a band.
I agree. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anyone's listening this long and don't know what the Port is, never been there, it is a former house, so there's different little rooms. So the band plays in one room in the very front part of the house, and you have to kind of go in this other middle room to kind of see them playing in the other room.
It's so awesome.
Or ducking your head around the corner
Yeah,
of the doorway.
yeah,
Hey, I can see the bassist.
Yeah. And you can never see the whole band. You can always catch maybe 3 out of 4 of them. One's always tucked back in the corner behind the pinball games.
True.
But that's part of the charm that's there. And that's why these bands want to play there, because it's a historic Kenosha, watering hole, and it's a unique experience to play there too, because you can get up there and watch a band. It's cool because it's so intimate and so like nice and tight in there, and not COVID friendly, but
in your buddy's basement. It's like, hey, dude,
right?
What's up?
We get so many people because we ask a question in a later segment. What's your favorite place to see a local band? A lot of people say the Port.
Really?
Oh yeah.
See, I would think it'd be someplace like Hat Tricks, because they have an actual stage and an actual room for bands and stuff. And like, I mean, pretty much anywhere you are in that room, you can see what's going on. Man, I would not put the Port down as number one.
No, people love it. I mean, you think of it. You're in the small. It's so intimate. Right there, boom. I love it. It gets a little hot in there.
You get 10 people in that room and it's packed.
Right.
And then some idiot's like, hey, time for a mosh pit. Exit stage left.
So if anybody has a band listening, go talk to Craig to get booked at the Port, right?
I'm all ears, man.
So how many bartenders do you currently have working?
Right now I have 5. What's that?
Give them a shout out.
All right, my bartenders are, let's see, Al Bjork, who is taking a hiatus because he has he has a real job. So he's overloaded for the holiday, but he's still there. I have, let's see, Big Doug Waldman.
Oh, Doug's still there.
Doug's still there. And of course,
Doug's
it's a side job.
Al's my former neighbor. I miss him already.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I was your former neighbor.
Yeah.
It's true. But
you and Al were roommates.
Good times.
Yeah.
Hey, can I borrow a cup of beer? Yeah, come right up. But no, past that. Actually, I was thinking, like, man, maybe I should get Doug Wallman to do this interview. He's a lot more congenial. He has better stories, and he flows a bit there.
Would he just say he was Craig?
What's that?
Would you just come in and say he was Craig? Is that what your plan?
Not?
Okay.
Oh, no. But past that, again, I have Jenny Blythe. Again, her husband Chris plays the other thing, and then I have Xandra Hughes. She's my number one. She's there the most often, and then I have Melissa Gallardo.
Oh, I love her. She's so sweet.
She brings her dog in a lot too, huh?
Oh yeah, the little Boston Terrier.
Yeah.
Well, see, Xandra has a dog now too. I don't know if you knew that or not. She has Kevin. So
your bar is very dog friendly too.
Very dog friendly. As long as your dog isn't an asshole, bring on in. But yeah, bring in. Make sure it's a leash attached in case we have to pull dogs apart.
Yeah.
Which it happens on a rare occasion, but most dogs come in there, they're starting to turn into like their own pack.
All right, Craig, can you walk me through a day in your life as the bar owner?
All right, you got enough caffeine in your system because you're going to fall asleep. Let's see. Well, the Port opens at 3 o'clock every day when we are open 6 days a week, but I will get there generally around
Monday through Saturdays,
Monday through
3 p.m.
3 o'clock.
But I'll get there boring as heck. Walk in, pretty much count out, the night before's, sales and things like that. Stack up on hard liquor. I have my bartenders like, hey, you guys stack up the beer and I'll stack up the hard liquor. You don't do everything. Do a basic sweep, mop if needed on the thing. See if anybody puked in a garbage can or a sink or a urinal instead of a toilet and clean that out.
There's a turd in the garbage can.
Yeah, there you go. See exactly. Okay, anything amiss? Is anything missing? Look at the walls. Make sure some kid does like, hey, this look cool in my dorm room and rip something out of a wall or something. But I deal with just general boring business. It's nothing to write home about at all.
All right. Hey, can you fill us in on this past year? You did a Hot Wheels race outside of the Port.
Yes,
I did. Tell our listeners what this is and if you plan on doing
what inspired that whole idea?
Yeah.
Well, let's see. It was last January. It was Monday afternoon. 2 of my regulars were in there. if you know Brian and Carol, they hang out at the port all the time. Brian and I, and on one of my regulars, his name is Tim. We call him Snowman. He drives semi. We're sitting around Monday afternoon, and it was like just a basic conversation. We started talking about it steered to childhood toys that we all played with, and G.I. Joe was out there, and Star Wars toys was out there. We realized the common denominator was Hot Wheels or Matchbox or Johnny Lightning or whatever, just small cars. And so I'm not sure exactly who started and who said what, but it's just pretty much, oh man, I had the fastest one on my block. No kid can be. Oh yeah, man, I go to school. We had races at school. We had training. Buddies would bring training. Nobody could beat me at school. And then somebody said the fateful words, "Bet your mine would have beat yours." And then that little pebble turned into a snowball, turned into a boulder, and they just started forming more and more. It's like, you know what? Maybe we can have a race. I mean, a bunch of, it's got to be dorks like that. There's three of us sitting here and we all agree on it. There's going to be more like us out there, right? It's like, maybe we can have a track on the inside of the bar. So maybe starting from the outside, get some speed going, from like the upper, upstairs, get some speed going to come in the bar and this, that, and the other. We can have a race and have it, at the other end of the bar. I'm like, that would be cool. And we're all sitting there like, now mind you, there's
how would it come from upstairs?
Okay, no, from the outside. And then we do it on a summer day, but like out the front door, the stairs that lead to the upstairs are on the outside. Like, all right, we get started on that, that railing right there, and we had built enough speed. We build a big enough banking, embankment, a curve, whatever have you, turn, coming in the bar, and they have it behind the bar. We had this whole thing like thought out, and it turned like kind of like a Sesame Street type thing. I was like, oh, follow the car, type thing. And we were just sitting there, and my idea was a bunch of drinking involved. I'm like, this sounds like a great idea. So I kept on bringing it up to people like in the bar. I'm like, hey, would this something issue? Hell yeah, it would. Like, and pretty much 95% of guys, hell yeah, and like me about 40% of girls like, they're like, you know what, that sounds like fun, because everybody else like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in my life. I'm like, that other 5% of guys and 60% of girls, that is dumb. I'm like, all right, but I got so much interest involved. I'm like, all right, there's no way we can have, if this many people are actually want to be in this, there's no way we can have this track in the bar alongside of all these people. It's like the capacity of the port's only 84, and there's over 100 people that, hell, I want to do this. I'm like, how do we do this? So brainstorming, let's do it outside on a summer day. I'm like, all right, we'll start at the garage on a steep incline, and the original intent was to have loops and turnarounds, speed boosters and things like that. But then we realized most cars wouldn't go. I mean, you could send the same car down 10 times. And like maybe 2 or 3 of those times, it doesn't want to hit the loop right and it fall off and stuff like that. So we're like, all right, well, we'll just make this do a dragway. So we got this long plank, I think it's about 25, 30 feet long plank, starting from the garage of the top of the garage of the bar and going down and just hitting a straightaway. We'd realize, we're like, well, we need speed boosters to get to the very end of the driveway, which is around 90 feet, mind you, from the garage to the very end of the sidewalk. And we put speed boosters in halfway down, and we realized the cars were going, any cars we were testing, they're going so fast. The speed boosters, if you don't know what a speed booster is, it's you put your track through this thing with 2 spinning wheels, and it's supposed to shoot the car faster to accelerate it. And we realized those cars are getting slowed down by these speed because those cars are going so fast. Wow. It's like, all right, screw the speed boosters. So like it just turned out like we call it the Port Grand Prix, but it's more the Port dragway for the most part.
Yeah, so just one straight shot. Yeah.
But we had 98 people, 1 car per person. We had 98 people racing, and
we had a bunch of spectators just hanging out.
And so many much more spectators.
Yeah, you had the whole yard fenced off. I was one of the people.
Yes, I do remember you there.
I made it like the final 8 or so, I think.
I was the first person not to win a trophy in my own race.
It was cool because it was like one of the big events after COVID. After I got my vaccination in March, your event was sometime after that, like in the April, May.
It was actually June. It was June? First Sunday of June. Okay. We planned it for the first.
Yeah, so it was like one of the first big events I went to after all the shit went down. So that was kind of cool. And there was a lot of people. I saw a lot of people I haven't seen in a while. And you had a great event for a first time.
Oh, honestly, man, I couldn't believe how big it was. I couldn't believe how big it was because it wound up being the second highest sales day I had since I opened up.
Wow.
And it's like, meanwhile, here's Brian is down, I'm up on the scaffolding and sending these cars down to race. And Brian's up there, you need a beer? I'm like, yeah. I'm like, I can't believe this is going off without a hitch. He says, I can't believe how many people showed up. I'm like, I know. But yeah, no. And, you brought that up to another question before that. It's like, are you going to do it again? Like, yeah, we're going to have to. It's
That's
like,
cool.
Yeah.
we're going to turn this into an annual thing.
Well, you know what? One thing I think you were missing there was a kind of interaction with the viewers. And I think that maybe Ktown Connects could be there to
Be the
do like a little
commentary.
commentary. We just need some speakers and
You
to
are
plug into.
more than welcome to.
And
And
kind of work with you or whoever's running the races and find out who the people are and their
Yeah.
car. Because you took their car, everyone had a car name.
well,
You're like,
when
what's the name of your car? I'm ready to think of something like Little Lightning. I don't know.
yeah, no, that's like, here comes this blue thing.
Yeah.
Ready, go. Well, that was one thing. For a first run, like it did go bad for a first run, but like you said, like it needs more detail and a little more flavor to it. And like I have no objection. You guys commentating the whole thing, it would be a hoot.
Perfect.
But like
We're in.
you got a better way to like set things up like this time around, because I went through like everybody like the registration table, weighing the cars up and taking down names and giving cars numbers and and description and describing cars. Like we're gonna smooth that out a little bit, but that's the one thing. If you guys want to do this, you'll have a whole sheet. I'm like, all right, this car. I'll walkie-talkie to you. It's car 24 and car 35.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you look it up. All right, here comes Donnie Stancato against
There you go.
Mark Rayuda or something
That's
like
exactly
that.
what I was thinking too. Yeah.
I am more than open
in.
to that. And if you guys have
Come up with that.
suggestions, go for it.
Yeah, because it was such a big event. I'm glad that you're going to bring it back, and it's going to be a yearly thing. I mean, it's fun.
Well, see, that's my biggest concern I have right now because, you were definitely there. I forgot. Were you there,
I was
Danny?
not, no.
Okay. It was to a point where, like you said, we had the whole bar cordoned off, but the inside of the bar and the outside of the bar, we were saturated. We're at capacity. I mean, as far as moving around.
This thing couldn't
Just
get much
fine.
bigger.
This thing is, I don't know. Everybody, I won't say everybody. That's extreme, but most people, man. Next year, I'm bringing my brother and his kids, and I'm getting my
Better
whole
get
family
that outside
and things
bar
like that.
ready to go.
No, exactly. Well, there was a bar in the back the whole time, but that's another part of the thing. But anybody else helped me out the first time. Signage, go to the back. Quit bothering the bartenders up there. I had 3 of my bartenders on that day, and they didn't get a break for over 4 or 5 hours. So like, okay, but if this thing's going to build larger than it is, I really got to talk to the city, talk to my alderman, talk to the city. I'm like, can I make it into like a block party, and then the overflow can go over to Champions across the street, and then or can
a great
get some
idea.
money off this,
Yeah.
maybe some food trucks in the middle of the street, so people can have something to eat and things like that.
Wow.
That's a great idea.
I need a little help on that one. So anybody out there listening to this, you got some connections.
That'd be great.
Yeah, I like that. I'll help you out. I got some connections. I'll see what I can do for you because I think
Or
that would be
novel.
great.
Well,
I mean,
Like it's on a Sunday in summer. I'm 90 is summertime, but
I
it's on
think
Sunday.
Ktown Connects brings you the Port Grand Prix.
You try to take it over now? Is that what you're-
No. We're just a sponsor. We help you out.
You're more than welcome. This is just a whimsical little thing I
it's cool.
started. I'm like, maybe it'll happen. Wow, did it happen? So
Well, we'd
Yeah.
like to help out next year. if we can.
We'd love to help out because it was such a huge success, and nobody else is doing something like that. That's what's so great about it.
well, that's what other people said. I'm like, this has never been done. Like this has been done.
been done,
Hot
not
Wheels been
around here,
since,
really, but-
Hot Wheels been around since late '60s. I'm like, around Kenosha, I don't think anybody's done it, but glad I was the first. I don't know.
Well, now speaking of you like talking to people and getting things done, you've been throwing this idea around recently about
Here we go.
about Al Molinaro,
Al Molinaro.
former Kenoshan, a not lifelong Kenoshan, but a former Kenoshan, and who starred in Happy Days. Good old Al.
Good.
He was in
Not
the
so
commercials.
good, Al.
He was in the commercials that you love, Donnie.
Tasting for Jesus Christ. Tasting more, it's encore.
For taste and more.
Yeah, I can't talk it. These truly.
For taste and more, it's encore.
Yes.
But Al Molinaro, Molinaro Drive is part of 52nd Street, named after him. You, Craig, want to do a statue of Al Molinaro right there in the front of the port.
I love it.
Want to put a bronze statue in front of the port, in the port front yard. Yeah.
I love it. So how did you come up with this idea? What made you want to do
I bet you weren't drunk at all when you came up with it.
I don't drink. One moment, please. I don't drink. No, it was, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago. Keith Pauley, I'm not sure. I know you know exactly who Keith is, and you might.
I know who he is.
Keith Pauley just, I don't know, every now and again on Facebook, he'll throw out a question like, hey, what do you guys think of this? And, start conversations and stuff. But, yeah, one of them was if Kenosha was to erect a statue of famous Kenoshan, dead or alive, actually, I think dead
Yeah.
Kenoshan, famous whatever, who do you think it should be? And some people said Orson Welles, and some people said Don Amici, and there was another
I'm gonna say it again.
out there.
Fuck Orson Welles.
There you go.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Tell us what you really think there.
He lived here for like 3 months when he was a fucking newborn. Fuck Orson Welles.
But the general majority, you yourself included. I saw your answer. It's like, yeah, no, it should be Al. Because it's like, it's Al. You think of Al Molinaro, it's like he's that cool uncle you wish you had.
Yep.
I don't know. He's just a cool, next door neighbor. He was
like a sweetheart old man from a different generation because he wouldn't do like any like cussing in movies or anything.
Right.
He wouldn't take any kind of R-rated movies.
Yep.
He'd always want to play wholesome, natural characters and. Yeah, I mean, it's nice to have someone like that from your hometown. It's kind of
exactly
cool.
I remember going to Colorama as a kid, down by obviously the lake, but every now and again go down there, and Al would make an appearance at Colorama and say, "Hey, Kenosha," and everyone was like, "Oh, it's Al," and
you come back to town a lot, Where's Orson Welles? I haven't seen him recently. He'll stop come by and visit.
Instead of the Bronze Fonz in Milwaukee, you have the Bronze Ale in front of the port.
It's kind of funny you say that. One of my regulars says, "Dude, you should have the Al." I'm like, "The what?" "You should make it out of aluminum, AL." I'm like, "Okay, look, that's a little too far, man. No, it's got to be bronze, aluminum." Did you ever see a rusty aluminum can? Did you ever see a rusty bronze can? No. So
now, besides, the obvious monetary problem you're going to have, what other issues are you having with trying to get this done?
Honestly, you know what? I've only come to one kind of slowdown.
Well, what challenge did you have to face? What did you have to do to?
Well, first things first, I want to talk to the family, make sure it's okay with the Molinaro family. Courtesy of, if she's listening, Courtney Bjorn helped me out a lot on this one, where she makes me wonder twice about her, from time to time.
She's like an ancestry master.
She is an ancestry master. She came up with numbers and names and all these things. I'm like, she's a private detective. She is. I was like, wow, how much dirt you know on me?
Right.
So anyway, no, she found me a number for Al Molinaro's wife, Betty.
Wow.
Well, widow Betty, and she lives out in Glendale, California. And so I got this
movie
number.
Stars.
Damn West Coasters. At any rate. But answering that phone, I was so nervous, and she must have thought I was a psycho. And the first few minutes we were talking, but then I put her in mind at ease, like, all right, and explain myself exactly. I'm from Kenosha, and Al was born in Kenosha, and I think it's just long overdue. It should be some kind of tribute. I'm giving, like you said, there is Molinaro Drive, 52nd and whatnot. But I was like, need something a little bit more on that one. So I brought the notion up to her. And we talked for like an hour. She's the nicest woman. It's like Aunt B's like, oh, but she's like, says, I would be honored if you did that. If Al was alive, I'm sure he would be honored. You have my blessing. I'm like, all right, great. So I crossed that bridge. So anyway, moving on to the next bridge, I'm like, all right, what if Kenosha is going to throw a fit about this? I'm like, but it's going to be on my own property, so it shouldn't matter.
Right.
But I own a business, so maybe there is a issue with that. I went down to the city clerk in I forget the exact office, but the guy looked it up and he says, what do you want to do? I'm like, I didn't say, Al or anything. So I was thinking about putting a statue in my front yard of my business. Is there a problem with that? He says, hold on. He gets on his computer and
beep bop boop bop beep boop boop.
Pretty much like every statute about statues, and he says, all right, he's asking a couple of questions like, what business is this? I'm like, oh, the port. He's like, oh, I know the port. On the left side or right? I'm like, on the left side if you're walking the door. No, it doesn't block traffic. Sight a line of view for traffic or anything like that. You're fine. Do whatever you want. I'm like, all right, great.
Wow, logic and government. Who knew?
Shocking. I have to pay him. All right. So, but my last hurdle I'm still in the midst of right now. Whereas I want to, because of course, Al is most known for El DeVecchio from Happy Days. So I'm like, all right, I want a likeness of El DeVecchio, in his, short button shirt and his apron and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, well, I got to contact whoever owns the rights to Happy Days. So
is that Disney now?
So I contact Disney that owns ABC that aired Happy Days back in the day, right?
Yeah.
And they says, all right, I fill out this huge form. Apparently, there's a lot of people like me want to do things like, I don't know, coffee mugs and whatever have you. They want to market on this. I'm like, I don't really want to make money off this. I just want to know if I can use the likeness. I just want permission. So anyway, I filled out this huge form, and then they send me a thing back, email back, and the next day it says, all right, we received your request. We'll be back to you in like 6 to 8 weeks. I'm like, okay, fine. almost 10 weeks later, this is a week ago now, almost 10 weeks later, they finally get back to me, email permissions department Disney. I was like, all right. So I anxiously open this thing up, and it says, we received a request. Talk to this person at ABC.
Man.
Shit. All right. Fine. So I get another email address. So I write this person. Her name's Andrea. It says Andrea Chain. It says, all right, dear Andrea, I'm not sure exactly how much detail you know about this. Here's the long and short of it. The formal letter. I'm like, get back to me as soon as you can, and we can work something out. Or you say yes or no. So I get an email back within the hour. I'm like, yes, I'm out of the office till next Monday. Oh my God, are you kidding me? So then right up to today, Monday, right, I'm sitting there like, all right. I get a real email from her that says, what'd you say? Something about, I have to look it up. Okay, pretty much she referred me to someone else.
Oh, boy.
To,
of course.
Paramount Studios, which apparently they own the rights to Ave-A. Is that how they acquired it? I'm like, you got to be kidding. So I sent out another email today, and now I'm in limbo right now. I'm in standby pattern again.
Wow.
But so long and short, sorry to make that all long-winded, but long and short, there will be a statue of Al Molinaro. Either he'll look like Al DeVecchio or just Al Molinaro, but I'm not sure which. But there will be one of the.
You could do Murray the Postman maybe, but that'd be another somebody you have to go through. But
well, somebody actually brought that up. I was like, I don't know. Some people aren't too happy with cops nowadays. I'm like, maybe we shouldn't have Murray the Cop in the front. Because that's his actual name.
Was he a cop? I thought it was Postman.
No, Murray the Cop. You're talking about the odd couple?
Yeah.
It's Murray the Cop.
Oh, it's been a long time.
I'm like, he's like, maybe somebody have an issue with that. I'm like, we can't have.
I mean, could you do him kind of like wearing a shirt like he wears in Happy Days, but without the apron? I mean, I guess you could.
No, we could. And see, well, that's one I'm going to talk to you as soon as
his face, his big old nose, and give it away.
No, true, but everyone knows Al, dude.
Yeah.
Well, that's one thing. If Paramount says no, you can't do the likeness of Al from Happy Days, and I'm going to start to Betty and say, hey, you got to have a slew of pictures of Al. There's got to be one of him grilling in the backyard. A couple of my regulars brought this up. He's got a picture of him grilling in the backyard with an apron on, right? Like, you make a good point there. There's a loophole right there. But even if she does, I'm like, all right, some of your favorite pictures of Al, and we're going to go from there. So
okay.
So so like I said, right now I'm in standby holding pattern right now.
Have you looked into the price, how much this would cost?
Yeah.
Well, there'll be a GoFundMe. We'll all chip in, right? Because I think this would be great for the community.
No, that's the only way I could really make it happen. Like, and I decided to chip in the first 1,000 myself, but I found a local artist. Her name is B. Krieger. Beatrice B. Her last name's Krieger anyway. B. Krieger, and she does these amazing busts. And so you can take a picture, she can make a bust of you, you're just fine. But she's never done a full body statue before because you had to actually make a sculpting so you can cast it, right? So he says, I'm going to get some help from a teacher in Whitewater and come up with a price for you. Now, mind you, I cased out a few other places around the country that said they could do it in X amount of prices, and she is pretty much, for what it's worth, around the same range as the lower end, and I know she put a little more TLC into it, so I'm going to go with her, and she's going to make it up. But yeah, it's for like long and short between the statue making, hauling the foundry and with the casting of the bronze. But I'm gonna have to take down one of the trees in the front yard and pour some concrete down, put the statue on. It's gonna be around $55,000.
Oh, we'll get that GoFundMe going as soon as you get the okay. We'll help you promote it. We should be good.
There you go. We'll see what happens. Maybe I can get some agent numbers from the cast members of Happy Days that still exist. I'm like, hey, you want to chip in a little bit?
Well, even if you get some sponsors to help chip out, you could just.
Wasn't Donnie Most just in town last summer?
Was he?
Yeah, he was in town for the Laura Kepler thing.
Oh,
at the band shell.
What was it?
The former Miss Kenosha, Miss America, Laura Kepler did an event.
Oh, gotcha.
Over by the band shell, and Donnie Most appeared there.
Oh, yeah. Welcome back to... you'd show up for this. And that's one thing. If I get an unveiling thing, I'm wondering if I can get a couple of them to show up, man.
There you go.
I'm pretty sure Ron Howard would be out of the question.
Yeah,
that's a busy guy right there.
You never know.
I get with Henry Winkler. He doesn't... I don't think...
You got to do, though, you have to make sure that there is a Port of Kenosha Beverage House sign somewhere behind the statue.
Yep.
So if all these selfies and all these photos are taken, you got your little report in the back there. Boom.
Bingo.
I did not think about that.
Yep.
Now you make a good point. Well, without that tree down, of course, you have to have the right angle to see the neon.
That's why maybe you should put it on the right side where the neon is. Free advertising
we'll
worldwide.
burn that bridge when we come to.
It's an idea. Just an idea.
Right.
I'm always thinking of ways to get our name out there. So.
All right, well, with that, let's take our second break, and we'll be back with our Kenosha Connects. And we're back from that break. And what a break that was, huh, Jason? All right, well, it is time for the Kenosha Connects, and it's brought to you by Lucci's Grandview.
Hey, Donnie, do you know how Lucci's Grandview got their name?
Well, Jason, they are owned by the Lucci family.
No, silly. I mean the Grandview part.
Oh, for sure. Lucci's Grandview is located at 6929 39th Avenue, and prior to 1926, 39th Avenue was known as Grandview Avenue.
Wow. And for a cold drink and good conversation, stop by Lucci's Grandview. This family-owned and operated bar will serve up some great memories.
Follow them on Facebook and find out all about their upcoming specials like bingo night, trivia night, live entertainment, and karaoke. That's Lucci's Grandview, located on the old Grandview Avenue at 6929 39th Avenue. Say hi to AJ and Sarah for us.
Ding, ding.
It's Kenosha Connects time.
Here with Craig Pias, owner of the Port of Kenosha Beverage House, located at 714 50th Street.
Beautiful downtown Kenosha. Are you ready, Craig?
Sure. I'm never ready for anything in my whole life. Why would I be ready for this?
What was the last great meal you had in Kenosha?
Bartley House. I so wish they didn't close down. They had a killer ribeye. I loved it. But yeah, it was all around great place. I really wish it would reopen.
So you haven't had a great meal since?
Well, yeah, that's the last. Well,
That's the one that sticks out.
I suppose the last one I had. Taco Bell. no. Actually, no. To tell you the truth, and this isn't a plug, but it was Luigi's where we're sitting right now, and they have the best pizza.
Okay, what's the best Taco Bell in town?
Best Taco Bell is, I can tell you which one is not.
Which one's not?
The one on 52nd. How do you mess up a bean burrito, man? they must always mess up my order. Not to put them down. Maybe they're under a lot of stress. I worked in restaurants. I realized how it goes, but it's a crapshoot if I get my order right. To tell you the truth, but no, the one I vote for the most is the one on Sheridan Road on the south side of town.
Okay. I noticed the one on the north side, the prices are a little higher. You notice that?
No, I didn't. Oh,
yeah.
on 18th.
Yeah,
up there?
yeah.
Somebody else said that too. Apparently, I just
it's like different owners or something.
I was just blindly getting money back, and not really paying attention. I said it was over $20. I'm like, yeah, sure.
Well, I always got like that $5 combo, but then it comes with a crunchy taco, so I'd say I want it with a soft shell. And like at the other ones in town, it's fine, no change. But there, it's like extra 30 cents for a soft shell instead of the crunchy shell.
I did not know that.
So it's like $5.50 something instead of $5.28 or whatever it is.
Sure, that's the price you pay for the best Mexican food in town.
I guess.
That's worth it sometimes.
All right, favorite Kenosha event?
Regulated by the city?
Any event that goes on in Kenosha.
Oh,
what's your go-to?
Usually like an annual event. Your favorite annual event.
It's the zombie ride.
Oh,
or handlebars and bars. Yeah,
Right.
it's what really stinks. I've only had time to go on one, but it was a blast, and I never have time because all my other bartenders we want to go on the ride. So who gets stuck bartending? Yeah, me. But it is a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun the one time I went.
Especially when they come to the port too. They've been having the after ride parties there as well.
Exactly. Well, they're massive. Their numbers got so big. There's no way we can accommodate that many people at the bar. So I was like, I'm like, all right, well, you're always going to be the last unofficial stop. All the troopers and things like that. After it ends at 10 o'clock at night, which has its perks and then it has its downfalls. Because people have been drinking for about 10 hours now, and
here they come all into your place.
Dressed as zombies.
And generally it's okay. There's only been a very small handful of incidences that weren't major.
Yeah.
But it's always fun.
All right, Craig, when you do get away from the port, what's your favorite local place to see a band?
Hat tricks, like I said. Only because anytime any space in that room, you can see exactly what's going on at any one point. And they can handle so many people in that room. You have like 50, 60 people in that room at a time. So
I like it because there's spaces you can go where you can kind of hear the band, but you're not right there. You're not getting blasted. You can go to the front, get a drink, and you can talk to the bartender, not yelling over the music. True. That's one that's nice about hat tricks. So. Yep. All right, Craig, here's one. Your favorite pizza place in Kenosha today?
Today?
Well, because I'm sure it changes, like many people. Unless you have an all-time favorite.
Okay, it does meander from time to time. To answer that, I have to share a short story. I swear it'll be short. It was about, I don't know, 5-6 years ago. One of my regulars, his name is Jeff Maurer, says, let's get a pizza. We were doing something else. He says, let's get a pizza. I'll get it from Vallejo's. I'm like, you know what? I have never had Vallejo's, man, up to this point. And if you remember back in the day, Vallejo's used to deliver the pizza in bright orange gremlins. And you see one of these bright orange gremlins on the street, like, yeah, it's a Vallejo pizza delivery driver. So I'm like, I always saw him, but I never had one. And so I tried Vallejo's for the first time, like, oh my God, this is so different. Oh my God, I love it.
Where have you been my whole life?
I love it. Shoot, maybe it's just because it was different, but they have great pizza. And not to put you down, Luigi's, I love you too. But right now, for the moment, it's because I'm still getting over it. It's still the honeymoon stage. I'm in love with you. After a while, I'll die down, and I'll go back to my norms.
All right, Craig, how about this one? Where can I get the best burrito in Kenosha?
Ooh.
2 places. Depends on what you want.
Okay.
If you're asking me personally. In my opinion, you have Los Compadres, which is about 2 doors down from Los Canderitos. Now, I go to Compadres. I love their beans. I'm like, I go in there, I'm like, give me a bean burrito, only beans, only cheese.
52nd Street.
What's that?
These are on 52nd Street, right?
They're both on 52nd
Which
Street,
one's
right
which?
off of 39th. Los Compadres is closer to 39th. It's in kind of like a mini mall type of thing.
Okay,
the very end of a strip mall.
And Boy Blue, I think, when we were kids.
Actually, I think you're right. Yeah, I forgot about that. I was a total South Sider, so I didn't get to the North Side, but I think you're right. But no, they have great beans. I'm like, yeah, just give me a bean burrito, only beans, only cheese, like nothing else in it. No, just that. And then I'll be right here. I'll pay for it. I'll be right back. And I walk over to Los Canderitos because they got great taco meat. Like, give me just a beef burrito, just beef and cheese, and that's it. So I'll pay for that and go back over to the Compadres and grab my other burrito. So yeah, it's a 2-way split on that.
All right.
Beans, Compadres, and beef Canderitos.
Wow.
All right.
I was thinking you're going to be like, and then I unroll and I combine them in one big burrito.
And then I dip it in a batter and deep fry the whole sucker, man.
Craig, which now closed Kenosha business do you wish you could bring back?
Ooh, well, I've already mentioned Bartley House.
I know, it's kind of, you said that already.
I'm going that way, I guess, with it.
Is that another one you can think of?
You
said that one already,
There was this place, we might have gone back to Mexican food. There was a place called, and you might remember, Pancho Villa's. It was right across the street from the spot over on 75th and 22nd right there. It was a small little Mexican restaurant. And they had, it was Americanized food. It was kind of like an Americanized Mexican food, kind of like a Taco Bell Rey. Where it's like, is it really Mexican? But man, it tastes really good.
Yeah.
But a lot better than Taco Bell. But they were open when I was in high school, and they were only open for a few years, and I guess the owner got in trouble or something like that. But they wound up folding up. But then they transformed into the same owner, same recipes and things like that into Taco City. And so you remember Taco City? There's one on the south side, and there's one up on 52nd as well. I was like, oh my gosh, this Pancho Villa is just, it's kind of like the taco mat though, because it was only drive-through at the time. Yeah. And so you go, they're like, all right, let's go.
It's like a photo mat.
Like a photo mat.
Serve tacos.
Let's go to the taco mat. Yeah, get some burritos. So, but now both of those folded up. So yeah, either Bartley House or a Taco City / Pancho Villa's.
I enjoyed Taco City. I thought it was great. I would always go to the one right on 80th and 22nd. Mm-hmm. I loved it. It
was great. And they were paired up with that Chicago. The hot dog? I forgot what it was.
Yeah, the hot dog, whatever it was. The
Red Hot Chicago?
I get a burrito and a bag of weed from those owners.
There you go. Get some poppers.
When was the last time you swam in Lake Michigan?
Before I was smart enough not to. The last time I did that, I can actually tell you exactly when. I was like 21, I want to say, around that area. And it was summer night, we're all drinking. We're at Eichelman Park and like, yeah, swim. And the guys and girls like, yeah, we all got in. I just remember the next day, of course, like I said, we were drinking after the fact, before and after the fact. I remember waking up the next day and I was like, and I got violently sick, but I realized it really wasn't so much the booze. It was from what it smelled like, man. I was just like dead carp, man. I was like, I couldn't take enough showers, dude. So, yeah, that was the last time I ever did.
All right, Craig, of course you can't count, the port, but in which Kenosha bar do you think you spent the most money at?
patios.
Yeah.
You know why? Because I don't have to drive there. All I have to do is like, you know what? I drink a couple of drinks in the port. I think I'll walk around this block and recognize most people around here.
Well, it's like throughout the past maybe 20 years or so, it's like the port and patios have been like kind of like a
Brother and sister.
Yeah.
We trade off a lot of regulars. I've had other bar owners like, doesn't it worry you that your patrons are going somewhere else? Like, no, because theirs are coming to mine. And
Yep. All right, last question for you. Big Star or the Spot?
I'm a Southsider, man. Honestly, I have very few things against Spot, but one is I can't do Velveeta on a burger. I just can't. Everything else is just fine, but it's like, no, this is as crappy as American cheese is. I'll throw my on my burger at the Spot.
All right, and that was the Kenosha Connects. That was brought to you by Lucci's Grandview.
And what time is it now, Donnie?
Ding, ding, ding. It's trivia. And trivia is brought to you by Faded Barbershop for Men.
You know, Donnie, like death and taxes, another aspect of life that we can't avoid is getting our hair cut.
And for your next haircut, call Boda and Trish at Faded Barbershop for Men. They're located at 2227 63rd Street.
They offer many different services, including shaves, waxing, and those good old-fashioned haircuts.
Drop them a message on Facebook to schedule a great time to come into their charming old-school shop for your next cut.
You got your haircut there.
I did.
And so did I.
And you did too.
That's Faded Barbershop for Men, 2227 63rd Street.
Hit them up.
So we have trivia today, which is 5 questions for each of you. It's Donnie against Craig.
Here we go.
And I try to find something about our guest to try and cater to. And Craig, you're a big Superman guy.
No, actually, I'm not. But people make it out to be. But geez, sort of. We'll just leave it.
Don't you have a Superman tattoo?
You know, the world could have lived without knowing that. Yes, that was my first tattoo. My buddy was going in the army. He was like, dude, I want to get a tattoo. Man, I was like, who's getting one with me? And I was the only one ballsy enough to get with him. I thought I was so original, man. I was wrong. And yes, I have a Superman tattoo.
I have a yin-yang, so it's kind of like the same thing, you know? Cheers to that,
Cheers
right?
to you.
I have a tribal, so.
Oh, okay. We're all in the same group here.
It's got to be somebody floating around with a barbed wire or something.
Right?
Well, anyway, so we're going to do Superman trivia, whether you like it or not, because that's what I have here. So hopefully you can take on Donnie and beat him and win the big prize.
I can't make any promises on this one, but go ahead.
Don't worry, I've only won maybe 5 out of 70.
You did beat the mayor.
I did beat the mayor in MASH trivia.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, see, we should have done MASH. Oh, man.
Oh, you're a big fan of MASH?
Oh, Dude, that was the show that was on before Benny Hill, man. I was like, man, I was sitting there like a monkey in the heat and waiting for Benny Hill, and I paid attention to MASH. I didn't realize I did, but yeah, I know a lot of MASH trivia.
Sorry, we're not doing MASH trivia. We're doing Superman trivia. I'm going to start with Donnie so you kind of get the feel and kind of get your feet wet a little bit. So.
Gotcha.
Now, this is a lot about the movies, I'm going to say. In Man of Steel, which is the movie, Superman and General Zod fight in space, and they run into a satellite. What company name is printed on the satellite?
LexCorp.
I'm sorry, it's incorrect. Correct answer is Wayne Enterprises.
Ah, okay.
Bruce Wayne.
Yep.
Batman.
Yep.
Batman v Superman. Martha. So, okay.
I hated that.
Craig, your first question for you. What is the name or the title of the comic book in which Superman made his debut in 1938?
Oh, it's Action Comics.
You got it.
Wow.
Hey, Craig, you're already up 1-0.
I'll live for the moment right now. I'm about to go down.
Soak it in.
Donnie? In Superman the movie, that was the original Christopher Reeve one, Lex Luthor directs 2 missiles to different points in America. One is to the San Andreas Fault. The other is to Hackensack. What state is Hackensack in?
Tennessee.
No, it is New Jersey.
Ah.
Are you blowing this on purpose to make me feel better?
No, of course not.
All right, Craig, here you go. Second one.
Okay.
Craig, number 2 for you. What is Superman's birth name?
Kal-El.
You got it.
I would have got that. I couldn't think of it.
Would ya?
Mike Bakula, if you're listening to this, thank you, because he drilled into my head. And said, you don't even know his real name. You got a tattoo of him.
Donnie, number 3 for you. In Superman the movie, Clark Kent arrives at the Fortress of Solitude at the age of 18 and begins his training to become Superman. How many years did he stay there before finally returning to civilization?
4.
The answer is 12. 12 years.
I was going to say 18.
When he was 30. Yeah, he came back. Gregor, you're up 2-0. You're doing good.
Yeah. There's 5 questions, right?
Yeah, we're number 3
I
here.
can still lose it all.
Correct. In Superman the movie and Superman 2, what is the name of Lex Luthor's bumbling henchman?
Oh, I know his real name, too. Damn it.
I'll take either or.
Okay, I lied. Well, actually, no. It's now you got me. Oh, you see, this is what happens when you fluster me. I start all, yeah, pretty lady. Gene Hackman's sidekick was Ned Beatty, but I can't remember his character name.
I'll give you half a point for having Ned Beatty.
I don't think I deserve that, but okay. What was it?
Otis.
Damn it.
Yeah.
Once you said bumbling, the word bumbling just kept on ringing in my head over and over. It just got ping-ponging around. It's like, get out of there.
Donnie, number 4 for you. Mm-hmm. Superman 3 opens with a slapstick comedy sequence. Great moment in cinema. Which of the following does not happen in that opening credit sequence? A blind man walks into a construction hole. B, a can of paint falls on someone's head. C, a stuffed penguin catches fire. Or D, a mime slips on spilled candy.
A mime slips on candy.
No, I'm sorry. The answer was A.
What was A?
Somebody, the blind man walks into the construction hole.
Oh, I thought that.
Somebody did actually fall into a construction pit, but it wasn't the blind man.
See, I was thinking like Richard Pryor. He was in that one movie where he was blind.
Okay, so Craig is up 2.5 to 0.
Oh,
just
I better
2.
get one.
And Craig, yeah, you're up. It's question 4 for you.
That's it.
There are 3 villains trapped in the Phantom Zone at the start of Superman 2. Name 2 of them.
Zod Zod the bitch and the dummy. Oh, that's what we always called him. I don't remember. Actually, it's more of an oaf, I guess. Yeah, you know what? I couldn't tell you more than Zod.
Ursa and Nan. The one I wouldn't have got Nan. He was the big dummy.
He was a big dummy.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Damn. I had a bad feeling you're going to ask me what one of their names was.
Well, I was originally going to have you name all 3, but I totally forgot about Nan. So, well, Donnie, you can't win now, but you can at least try
some
here.
Credibility here.
So you need at least 1 point here, right? Just for some respect.
Yeah.
This is going to be an easy one for you.
I bet.
Donnie. Mr. Mxyzptlk has been a popular Superman villain since 1944. Donnie, spell Mxyzptlk.
Mixpic.
Not even close.
Damn it.
That is, you know what? Besides the person that wrote and like is like, you know what? We'll come with this new character. He might be the only one who could spell that correct. That was such an unfair question. It is impossible.
No, it's easy. It's Mxyzptlk.
Isn't that what I said?
No, you're a little off. You're almost there. You're almost there.
You threw a vowel in. I'm sorry, you're disqualified.
And Craig, you get the final question here for fun, even though you've won the game.
But
In the film Superman the Movie, 2 actors from previous Superman projects made cameo appearances. Name one of them.
oh man, you're talking about the old Christopher Reeve, the original.
The original.
Oh,
There are 2 actors that were in older stuff.
I have not watched that movie, honestly, since probably the early 90s, before I started drinking. So, yeah,
Okay.
believe me,
Well, I got the answer.
I couldn't even remotely come close.
Okay, well, in the scene where a young Clark Kent is racing against the train, there's 2 people in the train, a man and a woman, and the man is Kirk Allen. He played Superman and Clark Kent in the 1940s serials, and the woman is Noelle Neal. She played Lois Lane in the 50s TV show.
Oh,
I had no idea.
I knew about her, but I didn't know about him.
Interesting.
Well,
I'm gonna have
you
to
really
watch.
dug deep for that one. That's,
Yeah.
I never even heard those actors, man.
I knew that. Well, I didn't know her name, but I could have said the Lois Lane from the TV show, which I would have accepted.
Not a clue.
But it doesn't matter because you won.
Right.
Yes, congratulations, Craig. You win a free coffee from Harborside Common Grounds. They're located at 5159 6th Avenue in beautiful downtown Kenosha. Common Grounds is a great coffee house with an unbelievable view of Lake Michigan with tasty sandwiches, delicious espresso, and, of course, great coffee drinks that you're going to be enjoying. They're open 7 days a week from 7 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Well, that about does it for today. We had a great time here talking with Craig Pias, the owner of the Port of Kenosha Beverage House, located at 714 50th Street. They don't have a website. They don't have a telephone number. You can find them on Facebook.
Yep, and everybody knows the port.
It's true.
You know, everybody's been there. They
Only
always
the
have a
cool
great
people
time.
know the
That's
port.
right.
Yeah. Just stop in.
Craig, thanks for joining us. But before we say our final goodbyes, let's thank our sponsors.
Including Captain Mike's,
The Downtowner Saloon,
Blue Horn Digital,
Union Park Tavern,
CarBox,
Lucci's Grandview,
Faded Barbershop for Men,
Wink Beauty Boutique,
Lulu Birds,
Equinox,
The Lettering Machine,
Luigi's Pizza Kitchen.
and Harborside Common Ground.
What a great show that was. Thank you so much, Craig, for coming in. And I think everybody should get on, have a nice cold brewski at the port.
Hey, let's go there right now.
Yeah, there you go. Now you're talking.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Craig. So, Jason, episode 70, this is our season 3 finale.
Yeah.
We're taking a little break, everybody.
Take a couple months off.
We'll be back sometime in 2022, probably beginning of March, maybe, or something, maybe later, whenever we feel like it.
Maybe.
But thanks, everybody, for all the support. It's been fun, but we'll be back. We're not going anywhere. We're just taking a little break.
Yeah.
And
bustling down for the winter, you know.
Yeah,
I gotta paint. I gotta do some.
Yeah, you got your art to do.
Yeah, I gotta get some painting done.
We got a lot of stuff we got to do.
Yeah.
We got to recharge the batteries.
Yeah.
So, what are we doing?
I just want to say thank you, Donnie, for a great third season.
Oh, you're such a sweetheart.
You do a wonderful work with this show, and you
I was not expecting
you put
this.
so much effort into this thing. And
oh my God!
you do such a great job.
You know what? You do the same, and you know what? I would not be here without you.
Okay.
All right. Well. Thank you.
You caught me mid-drink.
Oh, yeah. Thank you for all
you're
your
going to extend
hard
that a
work.
little more.
I am. Thank you for all your hard work that you do with the podcast. We really have a great thing going here, and we're going to be back in 2022.
And what will we be doing in 2022?
We will be connecting Kenosha.
I'm from Kenosha, I say Kenosha, that great big busy town.